Now we're going to head to Eric Glasser, who is believed still in Crystal River. He's been there throughout the night, keeping us updated on what is going on for people in that area. Eric.
Guys, Crystal River has got a lot of problems right now when it comes to flooding. We were told that this was going to happen with the storm surge, and now it is upon us. Remember, yesterday we were talking about whether or not the storm surge that was being predicted would breach US 19 or Highway 98. Well, it's done that with a vengeance, and now it's poured actually all the way to the east side of Dr. MLK Jr. Avenue here in Crystal River. That gives you an idea of just how much water we are talking about. And by the way, the tide is still coming in. There's another 2 hours to go before the next high tide. Just a second, I want to show you a live picture right now. I'm going to step out of the way. This is what we've been watching over the course of the past couple of hours now. These are airboat rescues that have been taking place. The sheriff's office also has high water rescue vehicles, 2 of them that have been in there. Those look like army trucks, if you will. They go in, big tires, high vehicles that move into the area. They can get through the water. But for the most part, they've been relying on what you're watching right now. Airboats, private airboats that have come in that have been contracted that are going into those neighborhoods on the west side of US 19, where the water is now inundating all of the buildings, I'm told, all of the residences, with a tide that is at least 5-6 feet higher than normal in some areas. And again, the tide still coming in. You can see the folks getting off of that airboat right now, having been rescued, their pet, and this has been going on and on and on. Again, folks who regrettably did not take the warning to evacuate Zone A when they were told to do so, and now are being rescued as the sun has come up, the winds have died down, and as the sheriff's office promised, able to get into those neighborhoods and help people. I am joined right now by Doug Baber. He is the city manager for the city of Crystal River. And Doug, I really appreciate you taking a few minutes with us. I know that this is a tough time for anybody in your city, and especially as the city manager, a person who loves this city. Can you tell us just an update on how things are going right now and what you guys have seen?
Well, we've done everything we can to warn people to make sure they got out as quickly as they could, and they had a plan. Right now, we're trying to get those folks that continue to stay. The Sheriff's Office, Fish and Wildlife, joint efforts from everybody in our own Crystal River Fire Department have just been done a great job getting those folks out that are still in there. So it's a tough time right now, but they're working hard. The city is resilient. Crystal River's got a bunch of amazing people here that are just proud residents, and we'll make it right. We'll get everything fixed.
City Hall is not immune. That's your office, and it sits right on US 19. Can you tell us about, just as an example of where that sits right now?
Last time I saw it was about 11:30. It was at the high water mark, which was the top of the steps before you go into City Hall. It's just, I can't figure out what it looks like now. If you see the boats going in and out of town, I've never seen anything like that with the rescues, and our entire city's in a flood zone. So if you're in here, you're dealing with water right now.
I know you've spoken with the mayor. You guys have also had an opportunity to speak with the sheriff's office as they've been going in. What are they telling you that it looks like in some of those communities on the west side of US 19?
Not only is it water around these houses, it's muck. So there's dirt and sludge and stuff that's come up from the Gulf and wherever. It's coming in around these houses. So a lot of people digging out. There's a lot of digging out. It's a different kind of storm as opposed to a regular hurricane for us with a water event. And just can't wait to get in there and kind of uncover it, see what we can do to get it back to normal as quickly as possible.
When you look at this road right here, this is 44 leading down to 19. Have you seen anything like this before?
No, sir. No. And they just redid this road. FDOT just redid this road not too long ago, and the drainage works amazing. And just for that, it all drains into the Gulf one way or another, and it's just backed everything up. Our fire department's underwater as well. We had to stage all those folks somewhere else. And that they've been working hard overnight to make sure we're safe as well here in Crystal River.
Doug, I know that you guys say always, you will rebuild, you'll come back better than ever. I know that, but this is just a tough day to watch all of this happening, I'm sure.
It's more surreal than anything. The things that you wish that you would never have to see or pay attention to, like that airboat starting up to go out and rescue more folks. It's just kind of wakes you up a little bit, you know what I mean? So we'll get through it. We're all tough. Everybody's strong here. We got a great staff working in the city and partnerships with the county, and it's just going to be. It'll all work out.
Thank you. Thanks for taking time.
Thank you, sir, very much.
Appreciate it. And there goes that airboat again, as you see it heading down 44 into those neighborhoods that Mr. Baber was talking about. Again, helping folks, as you saw, a live rescue taking place just now a few minutes ago. I can tell you a few other things that are taking place also. There was an aerial assessment. We had a helicopter that came up a short time ago. By the way, these deputies are roping this off behind us live right now. And the reason for that is they don't want anybody heading onto 44 anymore. People have been traversing this road. They've been walking in the water, and now with the tide still coming in, another couple of hours of it, they're really trying to set lines of how far it is that people have to back up in order to not be in danger themselves. We're about as close as you can get right now. They've actually shut the road down farther to the west of where we are. So please, if you don't have to be in this area, don't be. Allow them to continue to have these sort of rescue operations take place. We'll get back to you guys in a little bit with another update when we have an opportunity, but here you see some of the, again, those vehicles that have gone down into the neighborhoods as the airboat heads in. Some of those high water vehicles start to come out, and we will continue to speak with some of the folks as they do that. Also, coming up in a little bit, I'm going to have an update from you, from the sheriff here in Citrus County, who's going to talk to us about some of these operations, what it is that they're doing, how many assets they have in there right now. Just got finished speaking with him a short time ago. We'll hear from him as well, but suffice it to say that this is going to be going on for several hours today, especially with the high tide still coming up. And then, of course, once they get everybody out of there and the water recedes, it'll be not just days, but weeks, months, possibly even years before some of that property gets repaired.
Yeah.
But so far, we haven't heard anything about any loss of life. Those assessments still being done. Guys, back to you.
Yeah, Eric, you may not be able to answer this question, but I'm still going to ask you. I know sometimes when it's early on with 911 calls, when people are calling for help, there's limited information that's then released to us. But I want to ask you a quick question. The people who were rescued, were they making these calls overnight at midnight, 2, 3 in the morning, or were those calls made once daylight hit? Just wondering, what sort of desperation they were under overnight.
Right. You'll remember that when we spoke with people actually last night around midnight, 1 a.m., 2 a.m., this was not a problem. This was not an issue. We were live out here with you guys at about midnight, 1 o'clock in the morning, if you'll recall. And US 19 was not bone dry because it was raining, but no floodwaters to speak of. We were able to traverse those roads. So overnight, as we told folks, that storm surge came in, it rose. And so as of this morning is where they started to get inundated with water. And now the tide had gone out, and now it's coming back up again, and will be a high tide in a couple of hours. So to answer your question more directly, these phone calls came in when people saw a storm surge come in that was higher than what it was last night and kept on coming until it finally inundated their property, and then they reached out to the sheriff's office and to other agencies. Communication hasn't been a problem. Much of it hasn't been knocked out. Some of the electricity has been turned off voluntarily to give those rescue officials an opportunity to get in and avoid any electrocution. But communication has not been an issue. Many people have been able to use their cell phones still and alert people with the authorities to know that they are in trouble in desperate times, and that the tide has come up obviously higher than they expected. And so those rescues are now taking place. I would say probably from about daybreak until now is where most of that communication was taking place.
Yeah,
Guys,
Eric,
Not necessarily a fear of the forecast or the changing forecast, but once they saw the water rising, that's when those calls were coming in. That makes sense. Thank you.
And Eric, let me ask you, you talked about this yesterday, about
and it just kept coming.
Yeah.
Right? That's the thing. Some of those folks have seen water levels before, but then when it keeps coming and it exceeds what it is that you thought, now you say to yourself, well, when is this going to stop? We better call somebody. We're going to need help.
Sure. And Eric, let me ask you, you talked about it yesterday, this being an area, not a major metropolitan area like St. Pete or Tampa, and this area having limited resources. Do you know if they have enough resources right now to help people, to rescue people?
Well, they're using everything that they've got. I believe that they could probably use more, and that's just anecdotally speaking because they just keep coming, right? I mean, we keep seeing the airboats come back with more and more people. I don't know if some people haven't maybe even reached out yet because, again, the tide may come up even higher than this in the next couple of hours, and so some people who right now have water at their doorstep might be inundated, and so this is going to keep on going. As of right now, I have not heard anything from anybody that says we simply don't have enough, we're being overwhelmed. but it is constant. And you can see that, again, when we talk about those resources, the Sheriff's Office here has 2 of those high water vehicles, those Army-looking vehicles. They bring people out on the beds of those. And then those airboats, those aren't sheriff markings on them. They're private airboats that have come in. The Sheriff's Office is working with folks who do this sort of stuff. And they're going in and helping those people and getting them out of here, just going back and forth at this point. That operation started, I would say, probably just a couple of hours ago. Once the water got this high and those calls were being made, that was the first opportunity that they had to get into those neighborhoods and start saving folks. So undoubtedly, you've seen it yourself, there are still people back there that need help, need rescuing, and that's going to keep continuing for several more hours. And again, as the tide comes up over the next couple of hours, we'll probably see more of them.
Yeah, high tide peaks at 4:44 there in Crystal River. So another, 2 hours and 20 minutes or so. So we'll see what happens. Eric will keep us posted on that.
All right, we're